In this video, we'll talk about how to set up complex SharePoint agents in SharePoint. In the last session, we talked about having a series, or the benefits of having a series of agents to do tasks for you. And you can think of this as how you do your work on a daily basis today. So you have multiple tasks that usually have to complete a goal of yours. And agents is no different. And I quickly showed this in the last session as well, where you can have a series of agents just like that to do things like work winning or bids and proposals writing as well. Everything from like the really simple stuff, like being able to search and find information using like a search agent, or being able to do cost estimations, and that's grounded with the information of your projects and your costs that you've done in the past. Or maybe a standards and policy agent that understands what regulations or what policies you need to adhere to when you're providing a response to these types of proposals. And then things like humanizing text. So a lot of bids and tenders that are coming through, especially for my customers today, basically mandate that AI shouldn't be used at all for this. And the reason for that is they don't want a generic response from AI. But we can use AI agents in order to discover and find that information really easily for us, being able to humanize that text using our tone of voice, our brand, but also having the human in the loop for each of these components in using these agents. So what we're going to show you in a second is complex SharePoint agents. And the reason why I'm doing this is when you first jump into creating your first agent, you get a series of boxes or text boxes that you can type into. Great. But it's not really intuitive about the types of information that you might want to put in there. Now, you can create agents really easily and really simply. So this is to the other end of the spectrum here, where we're going to write a very complex set of instructions in order to specialize within those certain use cases I just talked about. And there's lots of different ways that you can create agents as well. So we're going to concentrate on this middle bit here within SharePoint. But you can also create agents that are personal to you. Like, for example, I have an agent that understands all the different tasks and how I work and how I want to schedule my day or my week. And that's personal to me. But when we're creating agents, whether that's in SharePoint or Copilot Studio, we can publish these out to the rest of the organization as well, so they get benefits from there. So let's jump into a little bit of a demo. As you can tell, this is all very live, so bear with me. When we're creating any sort of prompt or custom instructions, we want to follow a set of criteria. And the purpose of that really is to get the most out of these generative AI tools, especially around Copilot. So we can use things like the GCSE framework, which is around goal, so what you want the AI to do, the context, the source of the information, and the expectations. So if you're using those four areas of context, then you're able to have an output that is going to be usable to you. And when you're creating these agents or creating these prompts, you may not get it right first time. There's going to be a series of iterations of these instructions that you're going to have to do as well. So you need to go away and test this. Okay. Stop talking a second. Let's look at this bid and proposals SharePoint site. Now, if you've got agents enabled across your organization, and we click on the little Copilot icon at the very top right here, every site is going to get a default agent. And this is grounded in all the information in this site. So it's the context of the site, it's the SharePoint libraries, it's the folders, and it's the files underneath those as well. And that's really great for finding the information. So we can use natural language in here to discover that information really easily. But what I've done here is I've created a series of agents that go through that bids and tenders use case. Now, this is just an example use case. So you could have individual agents that help you provide or complete that common goal. So one example is for cost estimates, for example. Within this site, I've actually created a set of custom instructions, which we'll go into in a second. Let's edit this, which has the information, the knowledge that is grounded within this SharePoint site, but also this custom instructions about the types of behaviors or the types of skills I wanted to understand as well. So when I'm creating these agents, it's really important to give it a description. So that's not just for you, but it's also for the agent as well. So it has an understanding of the purpose, how and why it should be working with that human. So here we can see it's to provide accurate data-driven cost analysis based for construction bids. Next, obviously I'm going to give it a name. Next, I'm going to go to sources. So in here, we can define either the whole SharePoint site if we wanted to do that, or we can define quite exact SharePoint libraries, folders, or files. And then the next tab is around the behavior. So this is where we can put a welcome message. This is to the human being. And this is what we can see over on the right-hand side here. Some starter prompts, like it's going to a search engine, or like going to a search engine where it's normally blank, right? It's really up to you about how you want to search for something or how you want to ask the question. So these starter prompts are really as a guide to any new employee that's trying to use this agent. What types of things can I ask it? And then the most important part of creating these agents are the instructions. So these are custom instructions. And this is where I can clearly define what the purpose is and how this agent is going to work. Now you can see here, this is to the extreme, hence the reason why I've called it complex custom instructions. At the very top, I've told it that I always want it to provide citations. So where are you getting this knowledge from? Ensuring that any information you're bringing back to me is being grounded as evidenced within the information you're providing me. Don't use anything in your underlying large language model. So that is telling the agent, hey, don't make stuff up from the knowledge you already know. It needs to be found in information that I've told you within the sources tab at the very top here. And then next, I'm going to go through a series of different prompts. Now, you can start to see this has got some kind of weird hashes and stars in here. The reason for that is twofold. One is for me to be able to break down the different steps that the agent is going to walk through as a human being, but also for the agent to understand very clearly about the outset of the steps that I've defined. And as the underlying models change, because they will in the future, I can go in and kind of tweak all of these different instructions, and I have an idea about how this is all hanging together. So just walk you through this very quickly. I've got some general guidance about what the agent should do. So it knows it's in construction. It's going to be a finance analyst. The next step, we're going to look at the key functions and outputs. So determine a detailed breakdown of costs, for example. I want to understand what the labor, the materials are, whether any contractors need to be involved, what the pricing structure is. So I'm being as detailed as possible. You can see this is fairly high level still, but you want to talk about all of the things you want the agent to do and all of the things you don't want the agent to do. And that's a common part that gets missed as I'm speaking to my customers, that great, you can tell it exactly what you want this agent to do, but what are the things it's bringing back that you don't like? Tell it. If there's some examples that you have to say, hey, here's some examples of a structure or a cost breakdown that we used before, tell it. You're able to put this in the custom instructions to say, hey, here's your examples, and you could copy and paste that if you allowed into this text box. Or you can say, hey, over here in the sources, there's a file that's called cost estimations example. I only want you to read this as an example. Don't use this as any of the output. So giving examples is a really good way to show it what exactly the output should look like to you as a human being. And in this case, I've given it a second example. Now, all of these little hashes, like I said, is formatted in that way in Markdown. So top tip for you here, if you've not downloaded already, look for Power Tools. And if you hit the Windows key, Shift and V, you get this little sub menu that comes up, and you can paste into Markdown. And that will give you all of the little breakdowns, all of the little kind of structure that I've got here. I've seen custom instructions also being created within JSON as well, if you're into coding. So that's another way that I could structure my custom instructions and take a copy of those instructions as well. I usually have a library in the background here as well. So as the underlying models change, for example, from GPT-4 to GPT-4o, the outputs of these agents are going to be slightly different as well. So keeping a history of all of those custom instructions is also best practice. So once we're happy with our custom instructions, we can test it here. I haven't made any changes to this agent, so let's show you this live. So for example, we're going to say, hey, can you generate a cost estimate for this new project? And I can do the / here and actually call a document into, if I can type properly, into this prompt here. And what it's going to do is find that a file, and also the agent understands I'm looking for a cost estimate and how to give that back to me. So once it's written that, this is what the output would look like. So we can see these little citations I said, like where it's getting the information from. So I know it's getting this 3.5 million, which is grounded within this document, which is pretty cool. It's giving me a summary of the information and then a cost breakdown. Now I can use this as an estimate. So I might want to have a more detailed estimate of this within Excel or a line of business application, of course. But this is a really, really good understanding of whether this project is going to be a good use of my time or not. So is it going to be beneficial to my business in actually replying to this bids and tenders process? Let's show you another agent for a second. I was speaking to a customer last week. They said, this is great, love this. Really see what you're trying to do here. It is more complex than you're making out, of course. Yes, bids and tenders processes for enterprise customers is super hard, by the way. But they said, well, I created an agent the other day and I wanted to find CVs that were related to a project. And I was like, cool, yeah, we can do that. And we can make this really simple as well. So let's show you this edited for a moment. And I basically give it a description. I gave it a behavior as well. And all I've said in here is find the information from the knowledge base. Note, this will be aligned to enterprise construction organizations. So this professional CV searcher, as I've called it, I can use, and within the knowledge base that I've told it, where all of my CVs are for projects, which are obviously secured, so only I have access to this, not anyone else who might be using the agent, then we can see that Sarah Johnson is a project manager here, and she has the right certifications I was looking for this particular project. So super easy agent, able to bring back the relevant information. Again, if this was to be formatted slightly differently, I can tell the agent, hey, I want this formatted in this output before you give it to me. Let's show you one more. I have quite a few of these, as you can see, like standards and policies agent. I've got grounded within building regs for this particular demo, but we could go over to this humanization agent. Now, this was an agent I created probably about 2 years ago, to be honest with you, where I wanted an AI that would understand my tone of voice, how I write, how to produce articles, how to produce proposals, for example. And let's show you what this looks like. So some secret sauce behind the scenes here. And you've probably seen this already without knowing it. So if you follow me on LinkedIn, for example, you'll be able to see some posts that it's actually using this agent to just make my writing a little bit better, or a lot better in my case. But again, I give it a description of, hey, you're a humanization agent. You're going to respond to bids and responses. But the most important bit is you're going to align with the organization's tone of voice. So again, we can we can use RAG basically to point this to specific examples of writing in the past, and our brand library, for example. I haven't done this in this use case, but again, we can give it examples about how it should write. And then over here in the custom instructions, and by the way, this little text box, you can write up to 8,000 characters within here. And I've structured this in a very similar way that I just shown you. So I've got some general guidance. The idea is, it's going to establish a framework for how we want to structure our responses. So for example, we might work with an in-house copywriter, and they will also understand the tone of voice, and making their life a lot easier as well. The key functions, so there needs to be clarity, engagement, the consistency. I've got some readability metrics here as well. So some technical details about how I want these responses to be written. Some details information. And then what I've got here, it looks a little bit of a mess within markdown, but it's actually a table of all of the things it should and shouldn't do in some circumstances. So for example, if I'm writing a proposal, I want you to write it in this way. If I want you to write an email back to the end user or customer, then do it in that way. So I've got a table here as well, some other guidelines, but this is the cool bit. We're able to give it some examples and what the output should be. And we've got another example there as well. The thing I'm actually missing within this agent, I've just realized, is the way you can actually put sub-prompts within the custom instructions as well. Let's quickly show you that before we end this video. So I'll quickly jump back to the Copilot chat here. These are my demo agents that I show customers. These ones are personal to me. So I've got a Copilot copywriter here. If I go in and edit that, I'll show you these pre-prompts that I've put in. Let's just grab it a second. So edit that. So we're in here in Agent Builder, and we've got a set of instructions here as well. So if I drag this out and go towards the bottom, you can see when I'm posting like my raw thoughts or whatever I'm going to post for that day, there's a series of prompts that it goes through to start tweaking that content. So here I've got prompt 1. So this is like the initial essay creation. But then to refine that text and humanize it, I've got a second prompt that actually runs through as well. And that helps with the readability and the structuring of any information that I am using this agent for. And then right at the bottom, you can see the technical details of writing documents. Exactly the same principle when you're creating agents that are personal to you. I can give it the custom instructions. Description is also key because the agents will read that. And then I can give it some knowledge of where that information is, or web ground it if I wanted to go out to the internet and grab live details for me. And then I've also got some other functions and features here as well. Like the starter prompts, when I'm using this, and I do, of course, internally, then I have these starter prompts that basically start to fill out the prompt for me and actually saves me a lot of time. So I could click on this, copy and paste my raw information on my text or my notes or whatever it is, and then hit send, and then it's off to build that article or that essay or whatever it's going to be for me. Wow, this was a super long video. There is a ton more information that I'm going to do. If you're interested, I just want to say thank you very much for your time. All of these agents and the examples, by the way, Microsoft has done an awesome job in putting on the Copilot adoption site. So the URL is on the screen here, and we'll see you in the next one.